traveling around this country building this Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival.
Being poor is not a sin. Poverty is a sin. Being homeless is not a sin. Homelessness is a sin.
That's right.
We have to deal with our war economy and systemic racism and systemic poverty and ecological devastation. And finally, we have to deal with the moral narrative.
Good evening. My name is Callie Greer, and I want to tell you about my daughter, Venus. Venus started her journey about 14 months before she was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. She was unemployed, and her husband worked only part-time. It never get easy. But in 2012, we learned that the cancer had returned, and she had spread throughout her body. I'm good. I'm not usually this bad. Venus had to wait to be approved for every medical procedure she received, and was waiting for approval for a CAT scan when she was at my house and said her head was hurting so bad she couldn't see. So we rushed her to the ER, and when she got there, they lapsed into a coma, and she finally got the CAT scan that she needed, and they found 2 tumors in her brain. One had ruptured. The next day, we gathered around Venus to say our goodbyes, and we unplugged the tube, and Venus died. Even though many parents have buried their children, no parent should have, in America, should have to bury their child for a lack of medicated space.
I got a 10-year-old son, his name is Ian, and I had to have a conversation with him. I had to have a conversation with him of how he needed to act if the police ever stopped him. I had to tell my 10-year-old son that if they stop you, don't move too fast. If they stop you, put your hands up so they can see your hands. If they stop you, be polite. Say, yes, sir. Because it's more important for you to come home at night than anything else. It is important that if they stop you, that you listen to their commands and don't move too fast.
My family, I have over almost 250-year history in this part of the country. My family does. And we have fought and we have served in every war my nation has fought, including myself. I'm a veteran. I volunteered. And if my country needed me tomorrow, I would do it again. Because of a genetic condition that I was diagnosed with in my 30s, I was locked out of the healthcare system for many years. When I was 41, I found a lump in my left breast. By the time I was able to find a doctor that could see me, have a cancer screening, that lump was so large that my mammogram was enough to be positive for cancer. And the day after I had that mammogram, I was sitting in my county health department being signed up for Medicaid. Because I had finally been diagnosed with cancer, I could then get health care.
Jesus.
And I'm going to tell you, when I needed my country,
Lord.
Senator Mitch McConnell didn't know my name.
Yeah.
But when he gets ready to fight the next war, they all know where to find me.
Mi nombre es Luz María Ordaz y soy de la comunidad de Canutillo, Texas.
Good morning, my name is Luz Maria Ordaz and I live in the Canutillo area.
Y yo estoy aquí por lo de la separación de familias.
And I'm here to present my testimony on family separation.
Que ayer fui a ver a mi esposo y a mis 2 hijos y a mi yerno.
Yesterday I was at the river. I went to see my husband, my 2 children, and my son-in-law.
Que a mis hijos ya tenía como 16 años que no los miraba.
It had been 16 years since I hadn't been able to see my children.
Y él se presentó para que firmaran para que le grabaran la voz otra vez y le dicen, duró como 1 hora sentado esperando y le dicen, llegan y dicen, firma aquí, dice que es donde te estás presentando, pues él firmó.
So he went there and he waited for 1 hour, and then one of the agents arrived with a paper and told him to sign. And he was like, what is this paper about? It's just a paper saying that you're here presenting yourself.
Y ya cuando él firmó le dicen que si tiene abogado, tiene familia en México, porque ese papel que él acababa de firmar ya era su salida por 10 años.
And after he had signed, he was told, okay, do you have family in Mexico? Do you have an attorney that can represent you? Because you are going to be deported to Mexico.
O sea, fue una trampa que le hicieron con los del ICE.
So it was basically a trap. It is very sad because he was no criminal. The only issue that he had is he was undocumented, and that's it. And that's why he got deported.
The war economy is a very personal issue for me and one of the most important issues of our time. At 18 years old, I found myself fighting an illegal and immoral war in Iraq, where over 1 million people were killed, with millions displaced, kickstarting the largest refugee crisis since World War II. Estimates suggest that over $3 trillion will be spent on the war in Iraq and another $1 trillion on the war in Afghanistan, the United States' longest war in the history of this country. As a result of my combat deployments, I have post-traumatic stress disorder, otherwise known as PTSD, and traumatic brain injury, otherwise known as TBI. Since returning from Iraq, I've lost more friends to suicide than we lost in the combat zone. In other words, more members from my platoon have killed themselves since returning home than died in Iraq. While the U.S. spends trillions abroad, my friends, family, and fellow veterans suffer the economic consequences of the war economy. Our disability, education, healthcare benefits are constantly under attack. In our hometowns in the Rust Belt, families crumble under the pressure of austerity and poverty. My family, friends, and neighbors go without, not due to a lack of resources, but because of a gross misallocation of resources.
The New Mexico downwinners are the collateral damage that resulted from the development and testing of the first atomic bomb. We are the people who lived as close as 8 miles to the test site. We are the people who lived in the shadow of the labs, oftentimes made to work there without consent. We are the uranium miners that were sent into the pit to bring out the yellow cake that would be utilized to develop the bomb. We are the unknowing, unwilling, uncompensated, innocent victims of the bomb who were enlisted into service without consent or knowledge. When a family has to spend all they have to obtain medical care they need to survive the cancer that they've developed, they only rack up debt. They never have a chance to develop assets. The U.S. government has been very good at hiding the truth about what really took place here in New Mexico. They categorize the area around the Trinity site as remote and uninhabited, when in reality, according to the U.S. Census, over 40,000 people lived in a 50-mile radius. That is neither remote nor uninhabited.
I started out doing this work, doing housing organizing as an ally, or so I thought, to public housing residents who were protesting the demolition and forced relocation of their homes. But when I lost my housing, healthcare, and income all at the same time, I was terrified, panicked, and I went to the people that I thought I was an ally to because they were guiding me. And the reality is that I am poor. I've been poor for most of my working life, and it wasn't until I had this crisis that I'd realized the lies that I've been fed about my own life. I am the daughter of Indian Hindu immigrants to this country, and this movement is for my father, who struggled with steady work, who blamed himself for not having enough for his family, who was in and out of the psychiatric ward of a hospital, and who killed himself when I was 10. This movement is for my mother, who raised me and my brother without anybody around, without anybody. And this movement is for me, and this movement is for you, each of us, all of our family members, because no one gets left behind.
I'm 28 years old. I'm a proud single mom of a beautiful 1-year-old named Ella. I've spent 5 or so more years homeless. Poor and homeless people get stereotyped like we're too stupid and lazy to solve our own problems. I wasn't homeless because I was stupid and lazy. I was homeless because our county has no problem with the pregnant mothers being homeless in the dead of winter, while just 2 hours away in Seattle, the CEOs of Microsoft and Amazon have made themselves the richest individuals on the planet. Some of you might be suspicious about a Grays Harbor County person getting up here in front of this crowd thinking, aren't they all just a bunch of rednecks out there? Yes, I'm a redneck. We are radical rednecks. We're hillbillies for the liberation of people. We are the living reminder that when they went to throw out their white trash, they didn't burn it. We're here to stand shoulder to shoulder with anybody taking up this campaign, and trust me, we're the kind of scrappy you want on your side in a fight.
Yeah.